Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, call Allah Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Bahashim Rakakwadash, and of course, double honors go out to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who, through the Holy Spirit, continue to teach us this truth, knowledge, and wisdom. This is Naaman with the DC camp, and I'm going to try, notice I said try, not to take too long on this, but just hit the main points. This guy here, Russell Brand, every now and then I'll, check out his videos. And this particular one, this vet, and you got to understand, this is like 20 years after the fact. 20 years coming on 1 month after September 11th. All right. And like, damn. All right. So this guy, he's got points. As you lie to my friends are dead, after all these years. This Iraq war vet destroys George Bush. And then he makes a point here, I'll play the video, I'm just setting it up, that after all that shit, during that time of turmoil, and everybody was down on this man, and rightfully so, now they're all like buddy buddies. We keep telling you, Jakes especially, you Israelites, none of this shit was set up for us. Politics, whatever. And yet you have all of our, well, not all of our people, but still a great majority of our people that are so invested emotionally in this shit to the point where even now, and it's exacerbated by this pandemic shit, you got so much division. But again, this is prophecy. All right, Mark 3rd chapter, from 24 on down. All these things, damn, Matthew 10 and 35 on down. Again, these things were prophesied about. 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16, actually 2nd Ezra 13. Let's go there real quick. And I'll come back to this. Let's see. This is 2nd Ezra 13. Go all the way down to 29. It says, Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. Because, hey, let's just face it. A whole lot of people don't believe what we say, and that's, again, that's scriptural, because it says this would be a small sanctuary. Contrast that with, got a church on every corner. You got the majority of the people on this earth are either Christians or Muslims and all that other shit, Buddhists, Taoists, whatever. Sikh, Hindu, again, whatever. Small sanctuary. So we know that everybody's not going to get it. Those that are of the house of Israel, and that's the only people of any concern here. All right? We're coming back into our own. It says 31, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. 32, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and we're in that time, and the sign shall happen which I shewed thee before, and yes. It's like, unless you're totally blinded, you can't help but see. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending, referring to Acts 1 and 9. All right? So, let's go back to, and let's just go ahead and roll it.
Meanwhile, Bush is trying to be rehabilitated by self-immunity by the media as a sort of avuncular figure who no longer
See?
is connected to kind of, well, illegal rhetoric and condemnation that he used to face from the liberal left media. It makes me wonder, is anything set in stone? Is anything permanent? And is mainstream politics just a kind of theatre? If Bush was
Exactly.
low, is now being
It's all theater. It's all theater. These guys put on a show. Hey, I'm here in D.C. Have been for a long time. All right. All this shit is staged by and large. I mean, you have some people that, yeah, they make bitter enemies because they believe in this shit so strongly. But think of like the judicial system. You got this. What was the word? Um, Dang it, it's a word they use. They pretend, it's a game to them. Adversarial. This adversarial system, that's the word I was trying to think of. Adversarial system, and that's how it's pushed to the public. You got your prosecution and you have your defense. You got the district attorney, he's an elected official. So of course he's gonna go hardcore, especially in his role, again being an elected official. Alright. But at the end of the day we know it's all bullshit, and they play games with people's lives, just as these politicians do. In your house, both houses, the Senate, alright, and the House. You got your legislature, you got your branches, your three branches there. All right. Judicial, executive, and legislative. All right. And they each have their role. All right. It's supposed to be set up to where it's a system of checks and balances. But again, we know that's bullshit. At the end of the day, the banksters are over all this. This shit going on now with this jibber jabber shit, this magic virus and all this is coming from them on down. All right. And these other people, the lower tiers, they're trying to jump through their own asshole and trying to set this thing up for their masters. All right. That's what this is all about. Let's continue with this. But as he's saying there, now this asshole in his later years, and they're trying to pass him off as this old, I guess, grandfatherly figure, and he's not supposed to be connected and not know what's going on. It's bullshit. These people that serve as president, they're locked in actually for life. All right? They're juiced in. So let's go ahead.
He presented as a kind of friendly old shucks uncle. In this piece written in April, the journalist talks about how the Obamas now speak in glowing terms about George Bush. I'm old enough to remember.
But they're supposed to be
like
bitter enemies.
Contempt and hatred.
Yep.
George Bush was the Trump of then. Every late night talk show host, oh, George Bush, he's an idiot, cowboy hats. Me, actually. I did like a joke about that cowboy fella in the White House. I did jokes at MTV Awards, got my own death threats as a result of it. So, I'm old enough to remember that he occupied the exact cultural space that Trump subsequently occupied. Of course, a sort of a sugar rush amplification that you would anticipate coming along with the sort of internet age.
And when you think about it, how convenient, in retrospect, that Obama came in between the two. And guess what? You Jakes, as usual, helped them fulfill these agendas because you fall for this shit. Let's go to, and this is scriptural too, because we're told, or we were told, never to do the shit that we're doing as a people. This is Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 14, I'll start at. It says, when thou art come unto the land which the Most High Yahweh thy power giveth thee, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. And this is going towards the fact that Jake always want to do like the heathen nations do. Verse 15, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Most High Yahweh thy power shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. And what do our people do? Can't wait. We got to get Trump out of there. But before that, you elected somebody just because they had dark skin. It wasn't even of our nation. This is who they set up. They choose. And you just go through this bullshit process that's made to look like you actually have some say when you don't. Electoral college. What the fuck? Simply put, the most people that vote, that's the motherfuckers should be in electoral college. But the thing is it's beautiful to see now, because for so many, through the history actually of this country, you know, Jake, we don't have no power. And these Edomite so-called white Americans are just so proud. What are y'all complaining about? You'll get your welfare. Oh, shut up. It's like whenever our people will complain about something, they give us a bone somehow in some way, like a pacifier you give to an unruly child just to quiet them down. All right. Oh boy. So let's get some more of this.
But the same archetype, regarded as a sort of a dumb, macho idiot. Well, now he is being presented differently. Now, all of this image-based PR politics should be secondary from the actual facts of people's administration and the way that they use their power. George Bush was confronted by an Iraqi war veteran who gave him the truth about how he felt. You know, how often are we going to see things, if you saw in a film, like a person being dragged away, a person was going, it was terrible, the things I saw in that war, man, it's like they're dragged off by special services. You see that sort of thing in films all the time. You see people trying to sort of say the truth, but then they're sort of dragged off into the shadows. It's happening in reality. So what are we to believe? What is George W. Bush? What does he represent? And what's important? People's power, politics, or people's personalities? George W. Bush returns to the political stage of a promotional book tour. The media appearances focused on immigration reform look set to confirm Bush's improbable journey from reviled architect of the devastating Iraq war to elder statesman venerated by some liberals. The Republicans' approval rating has soared since he left office in 2009 and has been praised by his Democratic successor, Barack Obama. Not everyone, however, is comfortable with the rehabilitation of a leader whose war on terror yielded waterboarding and other forms of torture. They argue that Americans with short memories have become overly eager to embrace Bush 74 as a folksy and avuncular national treasure. I think what it tells you is that it's a facade. It kind of doesn't mean anything. The sort of figures and policies and wars and stories all just sort of pass by your eyes, while beneath it is some more permanent object operating and controlling what really happens. Even the rhetoric around Trump, Biden and all of that stuff is sort of like a sport for us to engage in, a rhetorical sport. Meanwhile, power does what power does. It doesn't really matter. It gives you sort of a soap opera. There's no doubt in recent years the crossover between entertainment and news and social media, this kind of blistering onslaught, this blizzard of information continually bombarding your retinas with data, has sort of created this sort of baffling miasma of information, and it's very hard to find truth. And so when you start living long enough to see the cycle pass, you start to query, well, what should I believe in now then? You know, I've watched this in its nascent phase and now I'm seeing it in its waning phase. Why am I going to get involved in any of this rhetoric, in any of this discourse, when I can sort of see now where it's going because I've watched where it's been? Jackson Lears, cultural historian, said, I'm hoping there'll be some pushback against this rehabilitation because I think it's an absolute scandal that he should be rehabilitated and tied up in any way as progressive. And of course, course, a confrontation with a war veteran is a reminder of like George Bush's legacy outside of the PR operation, which is obviously new. Of course, it's got no connection to truth. So you can dial it up, dial it out, down, say it's fantastic, say it's not fantastic. But this war veteran is a person that sort of had experiences as a direct result of Bush's policies, and this is how that went down.
Mr. Bush, when are you going to apologize for the million Iraqis that are dead because you lied? You lied about weapons of mass destruction. You lied about connections to 9/11. You lied about Iraq being a threat. You sent me to Iraq. You sent me to Iraq in 2003. My friends are dead. Joshua Castile.
Damn commercial.
You killed people.
I feel like if someone served in a war or sacrificed something for their country, that it kind of entitles them to more than a pension. It entitles them to...
You would think so, right? Hasn't he earned a right to speak his piece? But that goes to show you something too that we've always stated. And I deal with it because I still go up there, you know, for treatment. But here it is, this guy, as he stated, you know, people go to war for this country. And the way this country treats its vets, you got people out here on the streets. It's sad, man. It's really sad. But as I was going to say, here it is. Now you see the level of brainwashing that goes on. Listen to the people trying to shut him down when all he's doing is, well, he's speaking the truth. And, well, we know how that goes. It's totally contrary to what this country is all about. All right. But again, hasn't he, I've got to present this question, hasn't he, as a veteran, earned a right to speak his piece? Yeah, he's angry. He should be angry. All right. I thought this is what this was all about. I thought that's what they went, or we went to war for and all that, you know. Wow. The hypocrisy. For those of you who can't see it, damn.
Otherwise, the language and rhetoric around the kind of glorification of troops and soldiers is just a recruitment tool rather than any genuine honor
There you go.
and respect. You know, like, if you only listen to people who agree with you or only revere people who support your interests, that's not reverence at all.
You lied! You lied about WMD! A million Iraqis are dead because you lied!
Why wouldn't you anticipate that? See, while it's clear that to some people that entire political epoch is a kind of game, Clinton, Obama, Bush, they're all mates, it don't matter. Some people are going to wars during that time, watching people die, killing people. Like, oh, I thought this was real. Oh, no, it's not real. It's just a bunch of economic interests lined up in that direction, so we did that. Now those economic interests are going this way, so we're doing that. Yeah, well, that's what I believe. That's what I believe, and I've not obviously suffered anything like this person has suffered. And I'm appalled by it, and I know that you are, and you'll tell me in the comments what you think about it and what you feel about it. This isn't like about a personal attack on George Bush or whether he looks like a good guy or not. This is about the way that the media and the government conspire to create stories that are artificial and, in fact, discrete from reality.
There you
It's
go.
something that you watch in front of your eyes, while actual reality in terms of decision-making processes and how power operates and who gets what where when, that takes place elsewhere. And,
Yep.
you know, there's collateral damage, human damage.
My friends are dead because you lied! You need to apologize! Apologize! You need to apologize! Apologize!
He must have been feeling really nervous before he did that. I've done a few mad things in my life, never as, maybe as mad as I can't remember right now, but like, you know, the feeling where you know you're going to say something. Oh man, it's pretty heavy. That historian continued, this is a man in company with Dick Cheney, of course created more permanent and long-lasting damage to the presidency and the American system of government than probably anyone before or since. He was a man who wrapped his very narrow-gauge nationalism, his chauvinism and militarism in the rhetoric of righteousness. He was an evangelical Christian, and that to me is more offensive in many ways than Trump's style, which was overt, offensive and repellent. The comparison to Trump is an interesting one because it sort of suggests that these figures are kind of inflated, condemned, critiqued, and it doesn't really mean what people are saying it is. It's like a distraction technique. It's like, look over here, look at this thing, meanwhile business as usual, and business is the opposite word. The promotional tour put the seal on Bush's comeback to the public stage. After Biden's inauguration, he made a joint TV appearance with Bill Clinton and Obama that presented the trio as guardians of democracy in wake of Trump's scorched earth assault on institutions. Well, how are we to get behind this idea of scorched earth assault on institutions when a person who's treated in that same way by the same media is now being brought forth? It is not inconceivable to consider that Trump will be sort of pushed out on a trolley in 20 years' time to sort of like go, oh, he is old Trump, he's a bit of a character. You know, like, because look back at some of that stuff around you, so you would not have believed it. You would not have believed it that this person could be rehabilitated. They hated him. Bush's legacy includes the illegal invasion of Iraq in search of non-existent weapons of mass destruction at a cost of hundreds of thousands of lives. He botched the government response to Hurricane Katrina and presided over the biggest financial crisis since the Great Depression. These are pretty significant events, so if you actually look at what happened, I'm not sure because I'm not politically astute.
And yet, people have so short memories. We American idiots. So let's check out some comments before I close it out. Wow, it says, as a British person, this is Pink Floyd, okay. As a British person, let's not forgive and forget the role of Tony Blair. Callie Love says, not letting a veteran speak to the man that sent him to a needless war is sickening. Let's look at some of these replies from the first one. Let's see. Hate that man. No way am I going to forget his participation. Here's the Truth Channel, says Tony Blair nor Bush had anything to do with it. It was U.S. and British intelligence that colluded to lie to leaders. So you're telling me that they didn't know at some point what they were being pushed to say and do? Bullshit. Alright, someone responded to Truth Channel just like I did. Words, weapons, I guess that's what it stands abbreviated for. It says, at the Truth Channel, it says, they are leaders. They are the leaders. They gave the thumbs up to invade Dum Dum. They could have easily said no. And I guess this is a good looking out homie. Says, I guess he's talking about Trump. And notice he is doing the exact same thing as Bush now, trying to worm his way back into the national consciousness. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Tony Velasquez said, it is disgusting that this veteran was not allowed to speak his mind. I can't believe that he was treated this way, and the jackasses who were told to round him up like an animal should have stopped and refused to treat him in this manner. Again, that's why I made the brainwash comment, because as in this pandemic, this magic virus situation, look at the people that just went along with this because they were inconvenienced and they wanted to get back to partying and bullshitting and back to work. All right. I expect, this is from Hillary Porter, I expect more and more war veterans are beginning to realize that the terrible injuries they received were not for the glory of their countries, but to fill the pockets of the ever-expanding military-industrial complex, whose whole mission statement is make war, make money. And I'm going to close it with that. Nail on the head. Damn, I could have went to that one and just summed it all up. But, yeah. More and more people are waking up to the point where, yeah, you still have a lot of idiots out here but enough are waking up to the fact that they're pushing these elites, all right, to make that move, all right, and in haste, really, you you can see the mistakes that are being made, the shit that, what was that, Obadiah talking about the wise men of Teman? Hold on, let me get that real quick. Let's see. That voodoo they used to do doesn't work like it used to. All right, this is Obadiah. Let's see, that is around. Let's see. Yeah, verse 8. I'm going to go to the point. Shall I not in that day, saith the Most High Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Yeah, don't work like that anymore. All right. And like I said earlier, when I brought up about division, you're starting to see a lot of people who thought that they had friends. They're finding out that it's not that easy. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6, verse 7. It says, if thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. All right. Verse 8, it says, for some man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of trouble. All right. 9, and there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. 10, again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. And you're seeing that. All right. You're seeing that. And it's going to get worse because, again, this is prophecy. And in 15, let's see. I'll just go straight to 19. But Ezra was saying, in 14, he says, woe is me, woe is me. Who shall deliver me in that day? And them that dwell therein, woe to the world and to them that were in, He was wondering, because it's going to get so bad, and we keep telling you there's a reason Daniel 12:1 is there. Because we're coming up on a time that is like no other that has been before. This is verse 19, 2 Ezra 15 and 19 says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, going into Matthew 24th chapter where it says, let me get that real quick. All right. Because as things get more difficult, you're going to see people for what they really are. This is Matthew 24:12, and it says, and because iniquity, sin upon sin, shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. All those idiots, primarily Christians that run around here talking about I'm saved. 13, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Then you can say that. All right, so hey, with that, once again, this is has been a video on this vet here that approached W. George W. And told him, he said, my friends are dead because you lied. 1 million Iraqis, but they don't give a damn. Psalm 73, these are the ones that prospered in the world. These are these wicked motherfuckers, all right? This is what we're up against now, because in Australia, they're going buck wild, trying to get people to take this jibber jabber, all right? Hey, so with that, once again, this is what we do here, filter all this through the scriptures so you know what time you're in, and therefore time is short. Hey, so with that, hey, shalom, shalom.